Yes, yes, definitely would be. And then I'll just go back to when we donated all these artifacts, and it was announced publicly. What was wonderful is that many people that took artifacts in the Straits of Mackinac went into their garage, pulled them out, and donated their things to the museum. So that was a great incentive for people to get those artifacts out of your garage, get them restored, get them on public display. But yeah, that's the sad part, I think, of those mussels now, because what would it take to peel off all of these mussels from an artifact to see what that thing is? Well, as you're a diver underwater, how are you going to know what that wheel is made out of, or the capstan cover, and all kinds of artifacts that are such a joy to look at? You can see something there
Yeah.
that looks like maybe a porthole, but anyways, it's changed. The environment down there has changed considerably, but that's why what's so wonderful. Some of the photographers, the filmmakers these days are producing such extraordinary work. I know when Chuck and I were filming, I had a Kodak camera that I paid $35 worth it for at a local camera store, and then we had a green thing made in San Diego uh, that was the housing. But honestly, the, we took film. We took film, and Rick's got all of our film. So does our good friend Dan Friedhoff. He uh, he actually Dan took a lot of our stuff of film that I did on the Rex and digitized a lot of things and the photographs. But anyway, the big thing is that the film that we took showed the wreck with everything. I mean, it's like this is what the wreck really looks like, and so I'm so happy we took it. But it's filled with dust because when I when I would splice these scenes together, my dad had made taken a door and made me a table, and I had 10 little plastic trash bags taped to the table, and I had 10 scenes. Okay. And then I would take the film. We only had 3 minutes down there, by the way.
Dang.
3 minutes. 3 minutes with Super 8. Okay. And then plus double A batteries that zapped in the cold like that. So now today I think you'll forever with a digital camera, right? I mean, but we have 3 minutes. So it took a lot of dives to make a film because our films were, 30 minutes long. And that was after cutting many areas out. But I would sit there and with my Fuji camera and use this tape to cut scenes. You cut scenes and you tape them together and came up with this film. Well, as Rick knows and Dan, there's a lot of dust that ended up between the splices. Okay. But I think they were able to clean that up a little bit. But yeah, it was a real labor of love, honestly, to get a film together, and when you had 3 minutes of time versus wonderful stuff they come up with today. It's just fabulous, but they have a lot more time.
Well, in a sense, though, with what the technology we have today, we've kind of lost a bit of how many times would you have to go up, down for only a few minutes? You would probably have to
Oh
repeat
yeah.
that.
Well, the Eber Ward's a perfect example. That film is 30 minutes, but we have probably about, oh gosh, hours. It's just many, many hours of film. And then we would only make 2 dives a day because of, we have to decompress for a while and have time that you need to spend on land, but not in the water to avoid decompression sickness. But um, honestly, I would say, I wish I should have kept track of all that, but just many, many hours of diving, the 2 dives a day. We would spend every weekend and all our vacation time. They were just diving in that particular 1980 when we discovered the wreck in April, and we spent that whole summer diving just to film that wreck. And Anyway, we got all this film together, and then you had to go through it and put it together, splice it, and it was quite a operation. It's very, I say, unamateur. I mean, it's so amateur. It's so amateur, but we showed it. We filmed it, and showed it to people, and they loved it. So
You're showing people something that no, they're how else are they gonna be able to see it unless you went and did the work you and Chuck did with that. That I think that's incredible, and that probably led to a lot of more other people seeing that. Does it amaze you how far technology has come from when you were doing that splicing to today when you can just send down an ROV or you can just does that
I'll
blow
tell
you
you.
away with that?
Yeah, when you're now I don't know enough about the technology today. I just know when I was doing that Fuji tape splicing. Today, oh, well, you don't. You just go on your computer and put these scenes together, right? It'd be interesting to see someone do it today, just to watch how they do it today. But oh, the technology is night and day. It's just hardly describable. It's so different.
Yeah.
And even, your bottom timers and, the way you keep track of your dives, it's just all digital. And, back then it was pretty rudimentary.
Imagine what you could have, accomplished back then with the technology of today. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I think about just like computers. I think people could be czars of the universe with that technology. Yeah, we got our first computer in '81, which was pretty early, but yeah, it's amazing technology. Wow, and where it's going now with AI. Try to imagine that scene.
That's
I mean,
scary at
for your
times.
Ava, for your little sweet 2-year-old girl, Ava, what she is going to develop in. She's going to have a robot bringing her coffee in the morning.
Oh, man. Stuff of science fiction, now it's like, "Oh boy, what is going on?"
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, there's one subject as well that I do wanna bring up that people, need to know about is you being the co-founder of the Shipwreck Festival out in Livonia. I think you need to toot your horn on that and tell us how that all
Oh,
came
toot
to
my
be.
horn. Well, this was, yeah, way back 1979. And when Dave Trotter was president of the Ford Seahorse Scuba Club, and Chuck and I were, had our couple of dives under our belt in the Straits of Mackinac. We were really excited about shipwrecks and all of the things involved. And so, yeah, we got this small program with our group together, and people brought things, like artifacts to show off. And in fact, our friend Danny Fader, I'll never forget, he had a broom off to Cedarville. It was all beat up, but that was a prize artifact. Anyway, we got some people that had done films, like Chuck and I had, were just getting started. I had some film of Rex before the Eva Ward and Sandusky that I took. And so we, yeah, had people like John Steele. I don't know if you remember him.
I think
He was
so,
a
yeah.
big guy in the 16. He took 16 millimeter with Larry Copeland. They did a lot of early filming. Oh my gosh, it was just amazing to sit there at that event. And then we moved. I'm not sure. It's interesting. I'm trying to remember all this myself. But we ended up being at the Ford Motor Company World Headquarters in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue in their auditorium that we could have 500 people there in cushioned seats. It was just so fabulous. And Chuck was the MC for a few years of that. But we had the lights all down. Everything was quiet. And the song we always started everything off with was the Edmund Fitzgerald, Gordon Lightfoot's song. Oh my God, it was so powerful. It was a great program, and it still is. Everything's changed the way it's done now. They do a fabulous job with it. Now it started in '79, but there have been a couple of years. I know COVID and a couple of other years that they didn't have it. So I don't. I think they call it the 47th now. Was that the one that when I met you? I
I
think is that the 47th or 46th
think it was
year?
Why does part of me wanna say the 44th? I don't know, I could be totally wrong on that, but yeah, that was where I got to meet you, and Tracy running it and doing that, and Rick had me meet a bunch of other people. Yeah, I could
It
be
was so nice.
I'll have to look back on it and be like, "Oh, yeah, that's right." It's I love it. That was an incredible experience to see.
Oh, and they continue to do just such great work with it. And what I love to see is my twin brother, that drawing of the ship that's leaning over on its side. He did that. He did that first. That was our logo back then, and they still keep it to this day.
I did not know that. That is so cool.
Yes, yes, that is just very heartfelt. Whenever I see that, when I see any of their advertising, I think, yes, he did that.
Doesn't that touch your heart seeing, like, from where it all began to now all these years later, and there's still bits of it in there. It's like, "Ah, that's where it started. That's where it began and is what's it's grown into now."
It is remarkable to be around as long as I have, 83 years almost. I'm so blessed for that. I really am, and to have been in so many different worlds, and endeavors, and still be able to talk about it.
Yeah,
Sort of. I know I there's a lot I don't remember, obviously, but I can still feel it. It's still me inside here, and I just feel so grateful that I have these experiences and that I'm able to share them, like with your program right now.
absolutely, and all the more reason why I wanna capture this, I wanna archive it, I want it to be um, available for people to be there. I mean, you were doing stuff way back then that people aren't doing today or had the ability to, and that's important. And the festival was a big one. Yours and Chuck's contributions to the lighthouses, the artifacts, the wrecks, like the film, all of that. You did the work. Both you and Chuck did the work. You deserve the recognition for the work that you guys put in to make this all come together.
Thank you. Thank you so much for recognizing that. It was a lot of work, but a true labor of love in every area.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I just like a couple more questions, and then I always end the interviews with maybe where people can find you, or maybe something that you're currently working on that is important, and then just where they can support you and whatnot. So before we get to that, I did want to touch on the other shipwreck that you was significant for you and Chuck, the journey, was it correct?
The which one now?
The Eberward and the was it the Journey or
Sandusky.
Sandusky?
Sandusky.
That's it. My
Yeah,
goodness.
those are the two major. Yeah.
Let's
Sandusky's a smaller wreck.
yeah, I want to
That
touch
one.
on that one a bit.
Yeah, that sits in like I think 80 feet of water. And I'm trying to read and see if I have a note about him. Yeah, it's 110 feet long, and it sits in 83 feet of water. It went down in 1848, and we found that in 1981. In fact, I was not on the boat then. I was at a baby shower, but when Chuck called me, before cell phones, he called me, tracked me down, and so I left the baby shower and jumped in the car and went to the Straits and then dove it the next day. But on that boat was, well, certainly Chuck. Tony Gramer. In fact, Tony Gramer was a very good friend. Sadly, he passed away a few years ago, but he was actually at the wheel when went over the blimp. And then we had not real fancy equipment, like a bottom finder, fish finder, but there was a blimp. And and then, of course, Chuck Mueller and Ted Sleds are good friends whom we hang out with today. Um, we're on that. It was a beautiful wreck. Just it has this figurehead that I've named it a ram's head, but it's just extraordinary. In fact, eventually, some people tried to take that figurehead off, and Tony was able to salvage it, take it off, give it to the state. The scene that restored the original um, figurehead off the Sandusky, preserved it. And that original figurehead is in the Mackinac Museum. But Tony had a replica made and put on the rack that looks just like it. I mean, you wouldn't know that it's a different one. But that was the most fascinating part of that wreck.
Wow, and you said,
That's a bad story.
1848, was it, when that sank?
Yes, 1848, and sadly, all five crew members were lost. Or was there seven on that one? I think there were seven. Seven. Let's see. I actually made a little note of this. There were seven lives lost on that wreck. In fact, one of my dives, and I don't know if they found all the bodies or not, but one of my dives that I was filming, and I was at the bottom around the wreck, and in the sandy soil, not soil, but the bottom land was, sandy, and there was a boot sticking out of it, a boot. I mean, a big one that you would lace up, and I just knew that had to belong to somebody. I mean, like somebody was attached to it. Okay, that's what that totally. I mean, freaked me out. And I remember going back to the boat and saying, "Oh my God, I think I found a body." But eventually, someone moved that boot, and it wasn't attached to a body. But
Have you ever come across situations like that where you either, I don't see human remains or stuff? Have you had that before or no?
no, no, I have not. Thank God, except that boot. That boot that I thought was part of a person. Well, it was somebody had that boot. Eventually, they lost it, but yeah, it's one of the more pleasant dives. It's shallow and just a beautiful rock, and it's very popular. Our friend Dan Friedhoff runs a charter, Scuba North Charters, out of St. Ignace. Does a fabulous job up there with that. He also works for the underwater committee, the salvage, well, not, what's that? The Straits of Mackinac Underwater Preserve Committee.
Okay.
Got to get all these names right. He's very involved with that. He puts the buoys up. He puts all the buoys up for the wrecks. He donates a tremendous amount of time and effort for that organization. And then he has this charter and he knows a lot about the wrecks. He's really good at all that. But yeah, so if you want to get up there someday, I know I would love for you to get on his boat. You, Jake, just get on his boat. And I talked to him about it already. Okay. You can just, you know, in fact, Dave Trotter said you can go on his boat too,
Oh my
right?
god.
He said you go on his boat just to see what goes on there because you're so involved with this history. You would love that.
I appreciate that incredibly, you going out of your way to make that a connection, and I am very much, yes, looking forward to getting connected to both of them and doing that. That is going to be an amazing video to do that as well. Just to see that whole process and see how everything works, and to be with these legends such as yourself. You are a legend and I love it in all the good ways, best ways possible. So you got me all, I'm like sweating over here thinking about doing something like that. That is
Oh, you're going
incredible.
to be on a roll, guy. I'm just so happy that you are doing what you're doing.
Oh,
Just keep it up.
I appreciate it. I take these interviews, and I take all these experiences, take them completely humbling, and just really appreciate it. So restarting, what are some things that you're currently working on, or maybe you would like to let people know of, or that you're still a part of? And yeah.
Okay, there are three areas that I'm still volunteering for. And one of them is the Association for Great Lakes Maritime History, a fabulous organization that started in the early 80s that preserves the Great Lakes maritime history. I would strongly encourage people to support them. And then, of course, my beloved Detour Reef Light Preservation Society, which I helped give birth to back in 1998. I still stay involved with them. They have fabulous people that are running that society. I just have the greatest respect for them, and it's going strong. DRLPS. Go visit the lighthouse. And then, of course, the third thing and the most current thing, and that I'm very passionate about right now, is the Golden Retriever Rescue of Michigan. Okay. They are saving golden retrievers are a fabulous organ. And I just love working with the people and the dogs and having made the ability to make a contribution to to save a precious golden retriever's life, to give them a better life. And I encourage people to support them too.
One more time, the name of that organization is it cut out for a second, the golden retriever one?
It is the Golden Retriever Rescue of Michigan.
Okay, okay.
It's GRROM.com. They are a fabulous group led by our president, Betty Curran, who has some great people working to make sure surrendered Goldens are taken care of and put into loving homes. And I'm very passionate about that organization right now.
Awesome. Well, that you heard it, people. That's something. As much as Jerry loves her shipwrecks and artifacts and lake water, Goldens are right up there for her.
Yes, and this is what's so fun about Rick. He's gotten into preserving the history of the dogs on the shipwrecks,
That's right.
right?
That's
Have you
right.
seen that? Oh, it's fabulous.
We have done a lot of Rick loving on this interview. I love it. I love it.
Well, it feels, like we're sitting in the same in the living room together. It's really fun.
It is. It is. No, he's an incredible man. I can't thank him enough. And I again I appreciate your willingness to come on and share, and just to let people into this world and know everything that you've been a part of. I really appreciate it, and I thank you again for your generous willingness to share on all of that.
Oh, you're very welcome. I've certainly enjoyed sharing with you and getting to know you better and being a part of this program. And hopefully, people have enjoyed it. I've just met such fabulous people along the way here that I'm so grateful for. And now you, and I thank you. Keep up your good work.
I thank you. I will. I appreciate it so very much, Jerry.